Now, welcome back. If you thought beauty pageants were dead, well, you are so wrong. South Africa will be sending 10 queens to international events later this year. They were all crowned Miss Teen and Miss Pre-Teen. There were 5 winners in each category. Now, these are the Miss Teen Universe South Africa, Miss Teen Mundial South Africa, Miss Teen International South Africa, Miss Teen Globe South Africa, and of course Miss Teen Charm South Africa. Well, I have 2 guests in studio with me. Unamandla Vilakazi, who is Miss Teen Mundial South Africa of 2023, and Ntombifuthi Gumede, who is the director of Miss Teen Universe South Africa. A very good morning to you, lovely ladies. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm going to start with you, Unamandla. Congratulations, firstly. Just when your name was called out on that night, just talk to me about your first reaction.
I was extremely excited, but I was also proud of myself because I worked really hard to get that far. And it made me happy to know that with this title, I'm going to make a difference in my peers' lives since I advocate for education. So yeah, I was super excited and very happy.
It's a beautiful thing that you actually already know what it is you're all about, because, you know, they always say you have to stand for something or you'll fall for everything. You know, that's a very famous quote. But why education? Why is that so close to your heart?
Because education is important and I see the value of education and I want my peers to see that as well. I mean, with the knowledge that we get from education, we're able to shape a better society, and this generation, the younger generation, is the next generation, the older one, and it's going to be up to us to educate the younger generation. So I want my peers to know that education is very important and I want to impact.
You know, when you think of a teenager, Ntombifuthi, you're thinking all they should be caring about really is going to the malls and hanging out with their friends and not really doing anything that is of seriousness, anything that is impactful to life. It's not their responsibility because they are the older people, the older generation. You know, there are people in their 20s and 30s who should be focusing a little more on that. But when you have a young person, a teenager, who's already thinking about impacting her peers, you know, impacting society in the way that she is, that speaks to what it is Miss Teen Universe South Africa, the organization itself, what it is you guys strive for. Am I on the mark when I speak of that? What it is you guys are trying to create with these teenagers?
Yes, exactly. We're creating a platform where young girls are able to go out there, give back to the community, not only give back to the community, but make a difference as well in terms of their advocacy. Each and every queen has their own advocacy, but as an organization, we advocate mainly for education. So with these advocacies, we collaborate with charity brands. We've recently collaborated with South African National Red Cross. So our queens, 10 queens are goodwill ambassadors for South African Red Cross. So to us as an organization, we're giving them a platform so that they can reach out to the other youth out there and be able to make a difference.
And I think it's important that you started as young as you possibly can, right?
Exactly.
You know that it's not, there's always been this idea, and I'm going to fault myself as well. When I was younger, I used to think that, you know, beauty pageants were just about that, were just about the beauty. You're there, you're a beautiful young woman that is strutting her stuff, and I never listened to the speeches. I never listened to when they asked them what it is that you stand for. Because you obviously wouldn't care about it, but it's changed now, the landscape of beauty pageants, where now you've got a young person such as Unamandla who speaks about changing the landscape of education in South Africa. You know, just how have you guys managed to change the outlook of beauty pageants, and how are you continuing to do that, especially with the young people who are entering these competitions, who, when they enter, they think it's about beauty, when there is so much more that has to offer? How are you guys making sure that you continue to change the outlook?
We actually provide them with workshops, different workshops, and there are some charity events that they get involved in as well. And then we've got our Girl Child Empowerment workshop that happens like every year. So this is like a full year program, actually. So we sign them up as far as being semi-finalists for the pageant, and then from there we do selections to being finalists. So in that particular time, they are given tasks to do, like going out to the community. It can be media, it can be charity work, it can be anything that they can do to empower other girls out there. So that's the program that we give to them, and the support that we give them is, I would say, that's what makes up to where they currently are today.
The organization only gives you support, Unamandla, when you get into the competition, right? But to get to the competition, you need a different kind of support. You need family, you need friends, you need school maybe even, because you're going to be away representing South Africa at Miss Teen Mundial, and that is not here in South Africa, So you're going to need your family support, your school support, your friends support, the country's support. You don't come alone here today. You actually are with your family. Talk to me about how important they were when you walked up to mom and dad and you said to them, this is what I want to do and this is how far I want to go, and I'm not a loser. I will get that crown one way or another. What was their support like?
They were extremely supportive, I must say. They pushed me to my limits, and they made sure that I did what I have to do. They picked me up when I felt like falling down. They were just always there for me, especially my mom. She's done so much for me, and I truly appreciate her for that. She's taught us so much. She's also into giving, and I think that's where I get my giving from. So, yeah.
How important is it, though, to find that balance between challenging for this title or challenging for any beauty pageant title and still managing to get your school up? Because it's one thing to be about education, to be about inspiring your peers, but then you're not doing what you need to do in terms of your education and I suppose even your extramural activities, because life is not all about school. How important is it to find that balance?
Well, time management is very important and it plays a huge role. And I've used time management during that time. As a finalist during my journey, I focused more on doing charity during the weekend, and then during the weekdays, that's when I go to school and I do my work. So time management played a huge role.
Of course, of course.
Yes, it did.
There's also pre-teens, and that is, of course, your 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They too are coming in. They too know how to articulate themselves very well. And I speak as a father of a soon-to-be 10-year-old boy. I'm hearing him talk. He's sometimes sounding a little smarter than I am. So you're already at that point molding minds to think about their peers, to not just think about themselves. Just talk to us about the pre-teen part of Miss Teen.
The pre-teens part, it has been shocking, even for myself as well, because we hosted the pre-teens for the first time this year. So we're still finalizing franchises there and there with different pageants that we send to. So from the time we started with them up until the crowning, they've been amazing. You can tell that when you speak to those young girls, you are really speaking to future leaders. They are there, they show up when expected to show up, and they're giving this platform their all. And they are able to speak out as well. They're not afraid to speak their minds. So far as the director as well, I've been proud of the pre-teens that were selected. Not only the pre-teens that were selected, everyone that took part, because even those who didn't make it, but they had different advocacies that they were advocating towards, and then they had goals and dreams that they needed to achieve, even though some of them it was not only about winning, but they needed to achieve in different platforms, whether it has to do with getting full colors from school. So that was provided as well. It wasn't only about walking on stage and presenting your advocacy. A lot of things are involved. We also offer our winners like national blazers as well. So that is something that is exciting for them. We try to make this journey as exciting as it can be.
Ntombifuthi, when I started my intro, I said, if you think beauty pageants are dead, you're wrong. And it's showing in how you are able to expand just beyond the Miss Teen and even introduce Miss Pre-Teen, because you're starting from Pre-Teen now and we're going all the way to Mrs. South Africa, Mrs. World and such. So it's all-inclusive of beauty pageants and not just about the beauty. Again, I must say, it's not just about the beauty. This is about advocacy. This is about education. This is about creating future leaders. And once you have those older people who are leaders already, it's how do they give back to society to continue to groom, the younger people that are coming in. But I want to speak to the challenges organizers such as yourself face, because you need to attract a number of big brands. You need to have, investment into the vision that you guys have. It's one thing to have a vision for the likes of Unamandla, Vilakazi, but it needs to be supported and supported financially. Some of the challenges you've been facing.
We faced a whole lot of challenges. Lucky for this year, we did have like a few sponsors that came on board from corporate companies, private companies. Unfortunately, we have not been in a stage where we're receiving support from the government, and we're praying that one day we will get there. So we've been pushing. mostly the challenges that we face are when these girls have to go out there and represent South Africa. It becomes too much, like flights, you're talking about flights, tickets, and then when you get to these international pageants, other countries, they bring like the whole team, maybe like 12 or more than 10 people supporting a candidate. While as South Africans, we only come with a director and a parent.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be damaging to the contestant's self-esteem, because when she gets there, no matter how prepared, how sure we made that she is prepared for the journey, but when she gets there and then she sees that that contestant has so much support and she has limited support, sometimes that's where we end up not getting the crown, even though we're deserving of the international crown.
Yeah.
But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep on pushing, because we believe that one day, somewhere, someone out there will look at this brand and feel that I really want to invest in this. I really want to invest in a girl child empowerment program.
Yeah.
I really want to see these young girls going far in life. So,
Unamandla, how important is it to hear what Mrs. Ntombifuthi is saying, that no matter what, no matter the challenges, we are going to fight for you guys, and we're going to make sure that until we get to maybe, you know, the levels and the resources of, let's say, the United States, for example, because we know they got a lot of money, you know, until we get to their level, I'm going to believe, you as Unamandla, you're going to believe in what Ntombifuthi is saying, and you are also going to fight. You're going to block out all the noise, you're going to block out all the pressure, and you're going to go there and know what you deserve. How important is it to have the support from the team as well?
It's very important. It motivates you as a person. It makes you feel good about yourself, to know that there are people there that believe in you, that believe that you can get that crown, that are there to support you and to hold you when you're weak. So it is important, and it motivates you, like I said, and makes you feel very good. Yeah.
El Salvador's coming. Are you ready?
I'm actually going to Curacao.
It's Curacao, actually, that you're going to.
Yes, in September. I'm very excited to be representing my country.
I mean, I don't know the country, you know. The little that I do know of it right now as a sports broadcaster is that they're going to be playing up against Argentina in a match on Tuesday or something, and Lionel Messi is going to be beating them or something along. So I don't really know much about it. But is it important also to do your research, you know, about where you're going, what to expect, who you're coming up against, and are you doing that research?
I've researched Curacao already. I saw that it's a Dutch Caribbean island, and it is very beautiful, I must say. Yeah, that's the research that I've done so far, and I'm definitely going to go do more research, because it is important.
No, of course, it definitely is. I mean, Ntombifuthi, that's what I suppose, and I labor on the support part, you know, because we're dealing with teenagers here. We're dealing with people who are still trying to find themselves somewhat. I mean, you're always trying to find yourself, even when you're in your 60s. You don't really get to fully know who you are. But at that age, in the teens, you're still trying to find yourself. So then you need Ntombifuthi Gumede, who is the organizer, of course, of Miss Teen, to always be there to anchor the person when they lose themselves. Support across the board for a teenager. Let's take away the fact that this is a beauty queen. Just for a teenager, for the human being, for the person, you know, who is aspiring, has dreams, has these things that they want to do. Your role, now you're coming in as a big sister. How important is that role of support from a big sister at a human level?
it is very important, because she did mention that she's been doing her research. It is my duty as well to do a research on the country, because when we go to these international pageants, it's not only about the person, but we bring the tourism aspects to it. So it's all about promoting that particular country and promoting our country in a different country. So that's where I come in as well. That's where my role is. And then it doesn't stop there. We also are able to get them support from social workers, because mentally one will definitely need like mental support in order to carry that crown. In order to say that I'm an ambassador for youth in my country, you definitely need to have somebody supporting you emotionally, not only your family members, but someone out there that has like a professional aspect to it.
You're going to learn a lot out in Curacao. You're going to learn a lot with your role. What you come back, we don't know what it's going to be that you come back with in terms of the information and the experience, but if you're going to look forward into your crystal ball, do you see yourself taking this route and going into Miss South Africa, for example?
Yes, definitely I do. I do actually want to win Miss South Africa, and I do want to continue with modeling and pageantry, because I know that through pageantry, I can make a difference, not just in my peers' lives now, but in everyone's lives, and that's definitely what I'm going to do.
No, most definitely. That is amazing. And I mean, is that the goal usually for Miss Teen Universe South Africa? Is that the goal for when you're at this stage, that you want to encourage them to go a step further? Or is it just we leave that to you? We leave that to you, the contestant, the pageant queen, to decide if this is what you want to go on further? Or do you whisper in their ear and say, it's there as well?
It's mainly our goal to have one of our Miss Teen winners winning Miss South Africa and going to Miss Universe and winning Miss Universe. It will be like our biggest achievement.
Before I let you guys go, I want to ask you this question. Both of you, in fact. But I want to start with you, Sis Ntombifuthi. The misconception about the pageant industry at a world stage, but most importantly here in South Africa. South Africans will say to you, and I mean, I don't want to refer to social media because it's only but a drop in the ocean of society in general. But you'll have South Africans saying to you, we've got so many problems. We can't be worrying ourselves about supporting a pageant queen. We've got load shedding. We've got unemployment rate that is through the roof. Crime is what it is, you know. But just the misconception of beauty pageants and what you are hoping with this interview and many others that you've had and will have, what you want people to start thinking differently about your guys' work.
I want people to start taking pageantry as any other sport out there. We support soccer players when they go for their soccer matches. We support netball players, tennis. Why not pageantry? Because growing up as a child as well, I was not good at any sport whatsoever, but I only focused on pageantry up until now. So that was my sport. So if we are able to classify other sports codes, why don't put this into sports as well as a sports code and accept and support a person that has decided to go through this journey?
Modeling is a very lucrative industry. Modeling is a huge job. You know, people think that models are just people that walk on the runway and look beautiful. But if you look at the work the likes of Zoe Binitunzi has done, for example, you know, it's an incredible job. It can get you to heights unimaginable. What are you hoping people think and see differently about the work you are now going to start?
That it's not just about being beautiful and walking on a stage, like you said, but it's also about giving to your society, seeing where you can make a difference as a person, seeing where you can make a change, seeing how much of an impact you can make. I think that's very important, and people should start appreciating that we are making a difference, and that's our goal. That's what we want to do. It's in our hearts, and it does make us feel good. It makes us feel happy to know that this is what we want to do.
Proud of you. Congratulations. Well done. And all the best in Curacao. Come back with that crown. No pressure. No pressure. No pressure whatsoever. But we know you can. We know you will. And I would like to speak to you, of course, as a different kind of Miss Teen. Miss Teen Mundial, of course, of the universe. So congratulations. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Ntombifuthi, thank you for coming through. And all the best with everything that you guys have got going forward. And we really do hope that all 10 of our beauty queens come back with those titles. I mean, I'm not putting any pressure on all of you. So thank you so much for coming through. That, of course, was Unamandla Vilakazi, who is Miss Teen Mundial South Africa of 2023. She's heading over to Curacao to go represent the country. And then, of course, helping her and making sure that she comes back with it is Ntombifuthi Gumede, who is the director of Miss Teen Universe South